Now, the challenge this week is to make a Unapologetic colorway for cotton. It's my most popular colorway, it is my personal favorite as well, and I really want to be able to recreate it for a cotton yarn, which is a different dye process than dyeing on merino or wool, any other wool. Wool, excuse me. So that's what we're going to do this week. But first I need to make skeins out of these. I got 8 of these, and I'm going to tie them together 2 and 2, and I'm going to use my large niddy nutty to make 100-gram skeins. So that's what I'm going to do first, and then we're going to soak it. Now the skeins are ready to be dyed or to be soaked. I have made 4 100-gram skeins, and I've added the zip ties to them. And since this is cotton, it's a different process for soaking and dyeing, so I'm going to be using soda ash, hushåll soda, as we say in Sweden. And I have some lukewarm water here. I got 2 measuring cups with 2 liters in each. And the reason I'm using lukewarm water is just that it helps dissolve the soda ash faster. And you need about 60 milliliters per liter of water, and since I got 4 liters, we will need 4 spoons. I got one here that is pretty much exactly 60 milliliters. And there's 2. Oops. 3 and some. There we go. And I'm just adding in the water. It's 2 liters. And another 2. Gonna give it a little stir. It may clump a little bit, but it's not to worry, it will dissolve. Like so. And we'll grab the skeins. Here we go. I'm just going to put them in the water. I'm going to use the spoon to help push the yarn down into the water so that everything soaks properly and the fibers open up so that the dye can penetrate. We're getting there. I'm just gonna let it sit for a little while, and I'm going to go back in and push it down to make sure it soaks properly. Like so. And I'm going to leave this to soak for at least half an hour, possibly a little bit longer, just to make sure everything gets completely soaked, and we'll be ready to dye. Let's get ready to dye some yarn. Okay, yarn has soaked and is ready to go. I got my dyeing pan over here. I have set up my tray, and I've got my 2 measuring cups. So, I've got an old empty yogurt container with some cold, clear water in, spoon for poking the yarn if I need to. I've got some gloves. I've got possibly the most important thing of all, the face mask to protect my airways. because it's a very, very fine dust in these colors. You don't want to breathe that in. Got a couple of teaspoons that I use for measuring the dye. I'm not sure I can use them actually, if these might be slightly too small. We'll find out. And I'm going to be working with the Procion MX dyes for cellulose fibers, like cotton. So we'll be using turquoise and emerald green, same brand. So my goal for today is to try to recreate Unapologetic on cotton. I don't have the same, well, the turquoise is the same, but I don't have the same green that I use when dyeing wools. So yeah, I'm gonna try with emerald green and we'll see where we end up. What I think I'm gonna do is I'm going to mix some of this with water in the measuring cup, and I'll be using both cups, and I'll just make like a stock, add in a couple of cups of water in one of these, make a stock, divide it between them and just fill it up with water, and then get that in the pan with a yarn, and then I will sprinkle, I think I'm going to do that with the emerald green, and then I'm going to sprinkle some turquoise on top. That's the plan. Yeah, okay, let's see if we can make this work. All right, I brought out my little mixer thing as well to help mix out the dye powder in the measuring cup. First of all, mask on. Make sure that I don't accidentally breathe in any of this powder. Next, we're going with the emerald green. And now we shall see. Does this fit? No, it doesn't. That's about 1/3 of a teaspoon. I'm going to start with that. Adding that in, and we'll see where that takes us. Oh yeah, that would be more than enough, I think. I don't know if you can see, it is quite green. I'm just going to rinse my mixer thing. Quite a dark green, so I'm going to add about half of it to the other measuring cup, and I'm going to fill them up with water. Can you see the dye stock in the back here? It is very, very bright green. I think it's probably too dark for what I'm going for today, but I am sure we will get a really nice result either way. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some of the dye stock in the pan before adding the yarn. Like so. And I'm adding the yarn to that. I'm just gently squeezing out some of the water from the soaking. Do I twist it? Let's twist it just a wee bit. And the second skein. Giving it a couple of twists, nothing much. Third skein. very beautiful green, that's for sure. And the last skein. A little twist. I'm going to set this aside. All right, let's see what we can do. By adding some dye first, I'm hoping to reach the underside of the yarn. I'm just going to add in all of the remaining stock. Maybe I'll leave it like that. I do want to be able to sprinkle some turquoise. Yeah, I don't want it to get below the surface completely, so I'm leaving about half a measuring cup for that. I'm going to change my gloves and put on a clean pair, because now I am going to sprinkle some turquoise on top of this. I'm very excited to see where this is going to go. It actually looks kind of minty now when added to the white yarn. Okay, here we go. Let me move the tray over here. Mask on. And I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit more, a little bit more maybe. Oh, that's a lot. Let's start with that. This is very interesting. This may be a completely new color. You never know what you're gonna get the first time you try something. But it is usually quite pretty. Okay, let's poke it a little. And see what it does. I think we may have a completely new colorway here. Maybe, we shall see. Okay, I'm actually gonna go ahead and add in the rest of the green now on top. There we go. That's it. Since this is a cotton, it just needs to sit now and develop. So I'm going to do that. It's quite late at night right now, so I'm going to let it sit overnight. And we'll see tomorrow what we got. Exciting. It is time to rinse the yarn. I'm adding cold water to my rinsing bowl here, and I will be using soak. This is my favorite to use when rinsing yarn. You don't have to have this, you can just use dish soap or shampoo, whatever you fancy. But I'm using that one. Now, you don't need to rinse more than once when you use soak. I prefer to do it twice. It's just my preference. So, what do we have here? Well, we can tell right away that I did not get the colorway I was kind of hoping for, the Unapologetic, but you guys, look at this color. And it's like a gradient as well. I cannot be mad about this. It is, however, a lot of excess dye left in the water. You can see it's still very turquoise, which means it didn't exhaust completely. A lot of the reason for that is because I did use quite a lot of color, and also turquoise is very hefty. There we go, I'm just squeezing out the water before rinsing. Don't want to make more of a mess than I have to. There we go. I'm just going to set that aside. I'm going to grab my soaking tub to transfer the yarn to after rinsing. And we're just dunking it. Make sure to dunk the zip ties as well, because sometimes there is a little dye stuck on those two. And I'm squeezing out the water. This is giving me mermaid vibes, this yarn. What do you think? I'm definitely thinking mermaid. Okay, second skein. As you can see, there's a lot of color left in the water here. So after I'm done rinsing the first time, I'm going to do a second time, as I always do. But if there's still a lot of dye left in the water, I may repeat the rinsing process 1 or 2 times more, just to make sure I get as much of the excess dye out of the skein. And where's the last one? There we go. This is the great thing about using the ties. It's easy to find the skein in the water. You could also use a salad spinner to squeeze out the water when rinsing. Just make sure you use one that you don't use for food. There we go. I'm going to continue rinsing and we will be hanging it out to dry. So let's review our finished objects here. This is what they look like. Fabulous color. Reminds me of, I don't know, mermaid's tail, mermaid's hair maybe. That would be something. I was attempting to make a copy of the Unapologetic colorway on cotton instead, and obviously did not succeed. But that's actually just fine, because I love this. I really love this color. And I'm going to continue experimenting to see if I can do the Unapologetic on cotton as well. But for now, I'm kind of crazy about this one. So I'm going to keep this. I have been debating if I was going to dye on top of it again, because this is one of the colors that goes into the Unapologetic. So I could try to just continue on the same one, but no, I'm going to keep it like this. I love it. It is so pretty. I have no idea what to make of it yet, but it's probably going to be some type of summer top, I think. So that's the result for this week. Very happy with it, even though it didn't turn out as I was planning on or hoping for. But that's what you get when you experiment in the dye pots. There are happy accidents and sudden surprises, and you get something completely different than you set out to make sometimes. Still happy. And yeah, that's it for this week. I'll see you next time. Bye.
You got me feeling good, right about your side.